TruBlu is your home for all our new sting operations, and we thank you for being part of what we do. This series is created as a public service to highlight the dangers that your children may face. If you're a parent or know parents who may benefit from this, we urge you to share it with them and help us spread the word. Thank you. 150 million people, some as young as 5, use Roblox every day. The wildly popular gaming platform is a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company that creates an environment for endless creativity and the construction of online communities. Roblox boasts security measures to protect children with things like age verification and facial recognition. But investigations conducted by law enforcement and attorneys general across the country suggest it's not enough. Our investigation has uncovered thousands of claims of children being groomed and abused, sometimes sexually, online and in person after connecting on Roblox. And now those people are speaking out and demanding justice. Think of this as To Catch a Predator 2026. Same DNA, different battlefield.
When I first started playing Roblox, I was like 8 years old. I was a little kid. I just thought it was a cool little Lego game. And, I didn't really know it was programming and all that sort of stuff. But as I played more, I saw there was a development side to it. And, it just blew my mind what you could make and do on that platform. And eventually it led me going to STEM events and meeting people who actually worked for the game in real life.
What really stands out about Roblox is the marketing. This is a company that didn't just say it was a fun game for kids. It really sold the educational aspect of it. They had on their website, how is this game educational? And they talked about the MIT lab, saying that there was, all these different things about coding and they can learn how to develop their creative skills.
Eventually, I ended up meeting a developer who was on the platform. He was a contractor for Roblox. He was a very popular game developer on the platform. I loved his games. I was obsessed with him. So when I joined that server and he started interacting with me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is huge. This is a massive developer on the platform. I'm just a little kid. I'm 12. This is crazy. On the platform that I loved and, played every day, he started by showing me and asking me very inappropriate things. He would frequently try to expose me to pornography. He would expose me to gore. He would get me in private rooms with him and play pornography, be like, hey, isn't this cool? Isn't this, he would ask me inappropriate questions in voice calls if um, you know, Just very graphic things you shouldn't ever ask a kid. A lot of it was just like, um, it was psychological. Like when I would try to say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this, he'd actually threaten me with like trying to find where I lived and like my family. And there was this one time I took a screenshot and it actually had like a little waypoint of where I lived. And he would constantly hold that over my head and be like, hey, I'm going to find where you live and I'm going to contact your family. So, I mean, it bordered on the line of just blackmail, like at a point, which just sent me spiral. I mean, that was really the worst of it. It was horrific and it really affected me mentally as I grew up. You know, it spiraled for years and it just, eventually led to a lot of depression, self-harm. Eventually it led to a suicide attempt. And there's a timeline where I did it and I wasn't here. And the scary part is there's a lot of kids who actually have done it. I didn't understand power dynamics or, just the that people would be willing to take advantage of people. I didn't know what predators were. I was a little kid.
I had kind of an isolated childhood planned by myself with my older sisters. My escape from it was just going on the internet, going on Roblox.
How old were you, Woody, when you first went on Roblox?
10 or 11 was about where I started really exploring Roblox and started to get into it because I was a really big Lego kid. And this game was marketed to look like Legos. It seemed super innocent and it was all fun. And you could create things and you could be as expressive as you wanted. You could go on there and make spaceships, or you could make all kinds of stuff. And that was what drew me in. I loved it. It was so much fun for me.
You told your 10-year-old daughter you did not want her on Roblox.
Correct.
And she's a good kid.
Yeah.
But kids are kids.
Right.
And she went on Roblox anyway.
She wanted to go on there because her brothers, her older brothers on there, and she notices all the other kids on there. She snuck my computer and would get on it, like download it, and then she'll uninstall it so I wouldn't know she was using it. And then she also was using my iPad to get on there and then would just take the app off so I wouldn't know. Someone approached her online, was like saying that they would give her free Robux, and he was asking for pictures in exchange for Robux.
Pictures of your daughter.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're seeing in our cases is that predators use Roblox's digital currency, which is called Robux, to get introduced, gain the trust, and eventually manipulate these minor users. So in essence, Roblox is providing predators with the white van and the candy to go ahead and target its user base.
Really interacting with people I didn't know. That was kind of the root cause of where things started to spiral. So I would go on there and I would play these tycoon games or some of like the first person shooter games, and there were guys that were like really good at it. They played it like almost competitively. I'm like, man, these guys are pretty cool. It started off as kind of just a friendly, like, hey, you know, we know that you're younger, it's cool, you can still play these games with us, we'll tolerate it. They said they were 16, 17 years old, but quickly found out they were not. They were much older. And I would always try to talk to them too, kind of like trying to fit into their banter, but I didn't know half the things that they did. I was still innocent. Well, I didn't know too much about sex. I didn't know a lot of the things that I know now as an adult that are typically taboo, you know? So they're just talking about it in these chat rooms, in these groups, just openly.
You wanted to be a part of this group. These were the cool guys, you thought.
I did. I really wanted to fit in because personally, I didn't at school, didn't have a lot of friends. I was able to start talking to them in their own little off group chats that kind of led from Roblox onto these. And that's where they were kind of sharing, you know, pornography in these chats, and they were talking about it just so openly that I thought this was kind of a normal thing, like kind of the tipping point. You know, we started to go from just kind of innocence playing games to now we're full tilt on these guys talking about, you know, pornography or showing pictures and videos.
How did you detect that somebody was trying to exploit your daughter, then 10, on Roblox?
Where I was sitting down at the table and I started hearing my phone going off a lot. And when I looked at my phone, I noticed that it was a lot of messages. So I thought I was hacked because it was on Instagram. So then when I started reading through the message, that's when I realized that it's someone talking to my daughter. And he was saying all kinds of explicit things, asking her for certain types of photos. He was sending her things. It was disgusting. He had her moaning for him and sending video clips, and he just kept asking for clips of her moaning. He was asking her to stick several fingers in her, and she's like, no, I can't do that. And he's trying to coerce her to do that. There was some video where you could tell that he video called her quite a few times.
They asked me to send nude photos of myself. I told them no several times, and then they started to get rather aggressive with it. And it's like, hey, we're gonna kick you out of this group. You don't keep doing the things that we're asking. This is kind of where I met my attacker. Later found out his first name was Chris. I never got his last name, but he started talking to me saying, hey, you know, I understand you don't want to do these things. Well, what? Just for me, I'll still play games with you.
Who did your daughter think she was talking to?
She thought that he was younger at first, because when I spoke to her, she kept thinking he's only 15. That's what she was telling me. And I didn't believe he was 15. I'm like, a 15-year-old wouldn't talk to you like this. No, because that sound like the stuff 15-year-olds, I have kids that age, they wouldn't talk like that, not like that.
It's like, hey, you know, take a picture of your butt for me, I'll give you 100 Robux. I'm like, I did. There were a few times, probably about 5 or 6 times that I can remember. And he lived fairly close. Eventually he convinced me, okay, you know, come hang out with me. Let's play Xbox or something. And I was like, okay, that's a simple enough ask. I grabbed my controller. I'm like, sure. Came up and, you know, knocked on the door, he greeted me. And at first I thought, okay, who is this guy? This is an older man. And I came inside, I'm like, all right, where's Chris? I'm like, I'm here to play games. I tried to introduce myself. Woody, I'm here to play with Chris. We talked, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm him. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, you're an older guy. And I kind of questioned that. I'm like, why are you're not who you said you were. You're an older person. And I asked, I was like, oh, I thought you said you were 17. And he's like, oh, I had to say that they said moderation or something like that. He's like, I can't play with people if I say I'm an older guy. And over the kitchen, I noticed he had pornography playing on a small TV. And I was like, okay, it's very strange. And then he's like, oh, you want to play games and stuff? You know, I got my setup in my room. I was like, oh, okay. So, of course, just kind of follow him back there. I was innocent, had no idea what was going on. Started to put 2 and 2 together, and it really kind of spiraled when I went into his room, and he said, oh, he would be back. He comes back, and he's not wearing pants. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, hey, why are your pants? He goes, oh, I'm just getting comfortable. And I'm like, okay, that's a little too comfortable. And it's really when he started making advances on me, getting real close to me, saying like, hey, I'm comfortable. Oh, you should turn this on. You turn this VHS, just playing a pornography tape. He was like, do you like it? I was like, yeah, I mean, just scared. I was like, yeah, I just wanted to agree with it so he would leave me alone. As close as he was, he just kind of reached down and started touching my genitals. And in that point, I just kind of froze. I remember the sensation of getting the goosebumps. Like he just touched me and just goosebumps all up my back and my arms. I told him I grabbed real quick. I mean, I came to my senses just for a second. I pulled my pants back and I was like, can I go to the bathroom real quick? Because I kind of mapped out the house when I was walking in, and the bathroom is right next to a side door. And I just left my stuff. He's like, yeah. He's like, sure. Oh, he's like, okay, do what you need to do. He's like, but come back. I said, okay. I did not come back. I went to that bathroom. I didn't even go into the bathroom. It's right out the door.
I was working that day. It was February 26th. My daughter came into my room while I was working, and she looked like she was about to cry. Like, it looked like she was holding it in, right? And I saw Daddy texting a girl on Roblox. My heart sank, obviously, and I was like, because I've been through this before with him. Like, he's been unfaithful before. But I approached him, and he was in the kitchen, and he was on his phone, and I said, give me your phone. And then he was kind of hesitant, but then he just handed it over. And all I saw was him complimenting her, like, you have a beautiful face, I'm bewitched by your face. And then that he can't stop thinking about last night. So I was like, what happened last night? He did not want to tell me anything about her. As the night goes on, I lock his phone so he couldn't go in and delete anything. He had another phone. So he got the other phone, and that other phone had Roblox on it. And then he sent her a message, and I saw it come up from my end that said, unfriend me, I'll explain another day. She unfriended him, so then I couldn't see the chats anymore. This is Roblox. Like, who is this person? How old is she? And that's what made me suspicious, is he was like, I don't know how old she is. And he like stiffened up. How old did you say that you were? And then he was like, oh, 19 and over. And I was like, you're 29 years old. So why are you saying you're 19? Is it because you're talking to a child? And he's like, I wouldn't do that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna refriend her. So I added her from his account. And then when I added her, she immediately added back. And I put, how old are you? And then the message said 15 with a bunch of question marks. So I was like, you're talking. Oh, I'm gonna start crying. Sorry.
And what did that indicate to you when she said 15, question mark, question mark, question mark? It's almost as if she was saying, well, you know I'm 15. I've told you this before.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So right after I saw the messages that said she's 15, I got sick.
I vomited and I couldn't even stand up. Like, my legs felt like noodles. And I was like, I'm gonna call the cops on you. I'm gonna report you for this. Like, you're not gonna get away with talking to a kid, especially like this. He's like, no, like, don't call the cops. You're gonna make things worse for me. You're gonna make things worse for us. So I called them immediately.
I ran to the gas station that was over there. I was over my shoulder the whole time looking like, I don't want this guy to follow me. I'm scared. And then my friend came and picked me up. And with that, as he was message after message after message, I'm gonna come to your house. I'm gonna come find you. I'm gonna tell your parents what you did. I'm gonna do all this.
How long did he continue to harass you after his sexual assault?
Probably 2 to 3 months after.
Did you ever report this guy?
I didn't. I was terrified. I didn't even tell my parents. I just wanted the whole thing to be deleted out of my memory. I wanted it to be gone. I didn't want anything to do with what had happened because I didn't want that to, and I started to understand what had happened to me, what actually happened, and I was like, I'm not gonna let that determine everything else for the rest of my life. And so I had been dealing with it for years. I kind of pushed it under the rug and pretended it didn't happen.
Did you tell your parents about this?
Honestly, I didn't. I was very embarrassed to tell my family and my parents about it, even after I got out of the hospital. I was telling them little bits and pieces, but I never gave them the full picture. And after that, my mom reached out to Roblox, and, I was in the hospital over this, and she reached out to Roblox asking what's going on. It felt nice to actually have supportive parents that really wanted me to do better, and they saw something was clearly wrong.
What kinds of things was this man saying to your daughter?
He wanted her to call him daddy, so she was saying that a lot. He was asking, like I said, he was asking her to put 4 fingers in her vagina. He was like, it was so graphic, like commenting about her body and stuff like that.
Who does that to a 10-year-old girl?
A monster. That's the only thing I can even describe it as, just a really sick person.
You always hear about these predators on TV. And then once I realized that I've been sleeping next to one for the last 12 years, I don't think I'm ever gonna be the same again.
After all the grooming and abuse that I went through, I created like a new channel. It had nothing at all to do with like predator catching or anything. It was actually just an innocent little gaming YouTube channel like you'd see all across YouTube. And I became very successful on that. I was receiving tons of emails from kids. Hey, there's a predator here. There's, bad people here. And, this game was just a normal sandbox game where you can build whatever you want. How are there predators on here? So, I eventually created Schlep, and it just started out as a normal YouTube channel and related to Roblox. And the messages were so overwhelming on that channel. And it got to a point where I was just like, I have to look into this.
She's actually one of our decoys. An account created by my group, Rogue Catchers, to expose predators preying on people within the Roblox community. But the story I just told you, it's real. just said, I can't wait to see you soon. Same. I have it all planned out. Oh, and the first thing he said was totally censored. Oh, it's gonna involve you using that mouth. I'm just getting so hard just telling you stuff. I haven't done it in so long. I can't wait to ruin you. Oh my God.
I've caught loads of predators on the platform, but I've gotten 6 of them arrested in real life. And these arrests have ranged from child pornography charges to these predators to online solicitation.
When you conducted these investigations, tell me how it worked.
So we would create accounts on Discord and we would join these communities. They were called condo communities, and condos refer to Roblox sex games. Now, how these games are totally graphic. They are just straight up pornography. Roblox does take action to some extent on these games, but Roblox is in a game of whack-a-mole with Discord, where pretty much what happens is when these games get taken down, these communities on Discord will just instantly re-upload them. And on Discord, in these communities, they have a channel called Partners, where you can look for a partner to do stuff with. We'll just create an account, you will just say hi in it, and we'll get flooded with messages, just absolutely bombarded with them. And we have had 6 child predators reach out to us on these accounts, and we never engage sexually with these people. They are always the first to make sexual comments. We never, are the ones to further on these sexual chats. They are specifically trying to initiate sexual conversation with what they believe are minors. And when the chats continue, we have a criteria. They have to tell us, I want to meet up with you in person to have sex. And that is only when we will even consider starting a real life lead up confrontation.
Explain to me the relationship between Discord and Roblox.
Roblox actually owns a bot on Discord, so they're directly integrated. If you go onto Discord, you'll see Roblox connections. On Roblox itself, they allow games to link Discord servers right underneath it, which has led to real-life abductions. I sent a message to the Roblox that a predator who I got arrested and charged in real life, he was back on the platform. And mind you, this guy was 22 and he tried to meet up with 13-year-old in real life. Then I sent the CEO on Twitter a message. I'm like, this is a child predator on your platform. We tried to go ahead and send messages to your support ticket. This is what they're sending us back. And he blocked me on Twitter.
This video isn't going to be your typical video. This video is actually a call for help, and I need everybody to share this video. The Roblox Corporation has sent a cease and desist letter to me, a 22-year-old, versus a multi-billion-dollar company, threats of litigation, because I catch predators on their platform.
I got 6 arrests of child predators within their community, and this is how they thank me.
Give me a sense for the response you've gotten.
Since this whole thing blew up, it's just been overwhelming. People saw this not as, oh, Roblox just terminated a person. They saw this as a literal act of war.
One headline said, Roblox goes after a content creator, you, and people are pissed.
When this news first broke, it was trending on Twitter for 3 days straight. I mean, it's been a mind-blowing response, and it shows people just are not okay with this at all.
We couldn't be prouder to represent somebody like Schlapp, who has treated this situation with a tremendous amount of maturity and has always kept the interest and the safety of Roblox's users at the forefront of everything he does.
They told parents, this is safe, safety is in our DNA, we have state-of-the-art technology. There's competitors that had age verification technology many years sooner, and they lulled parents into a false sense of security, and horrific things happened, devastating consequences, lives were destroyed.
So you essentially launched your own investigation. You
Yes.
took over the communications with this man, this predator,
Yes.
and he thought he was talking to your daughter.
Yes.
Take me inside the conversation you had with him.
Well, he kept asking for photos, and I had told him that I couldn't send him anything right now because, you know, I'm with my mom, but I would talk to him and back and forth. I wouldn't send him any like video clips, but I just kind of like dragged it out. I was trying to get him to video me. When he videoed me the first time, then I had heard him and cut the camera off because I was trying to get my daughter to like look at him while I screen recorded him on there. But he heard him and shut his camera off. But I just continued talking to him just to keep him interested. And he just kept asking for photos. The same day I did that, I went to the police station with my phone and contacted the sheriff about what was going on.
Case came my way because the mom audited the social media that her child was engaging in, and she found it. She immediately reported to law enforcement. You know, without her caring about her child, if she would have, for instance, had the mindset that my child has a right to privacy and this will make them sad if I'm looking through their things, if I'm looking through their chats, if I'm looking through their phone, her child would have probably sustained more mental injury than she inevitably did from what already occurred.
What happened from that point when it was turned over to the sheriff's office?
A significant open source intelligence investigation, more undercover work on my part, and then significant liaison with authorities across the pond.
So then they show up, 2 cops, and I have his phone, and I'm showing the cop like the messages, and then I guess she gets suspicious and she unfriends him again right in front of the cop. And then he witnessed the messages just disappear. The other officer that was talking to me came back in. He's like, yeah, he admitted to it. I mean, he admitted to saying he wanted to perform oral sex on her. And then I was like, okay, well, are you going to arrest him? Like, hello, you just admitted it. You have the proof. And then they were like, well, the problem here is that we don't know who she is. So yeah, he thinks that she's 15, but what if it's like a 36-year-old woman? It's probably wrong, but at that point, that's when I decided to take matters into my own hands. And I had his Roblox login information. So I was like, I'm gonna try to find as much evidence as I can. So I logged in his Roblox account. I added her as him. Immediately, she accepted the request, and then she started saying like, what do you want? I had to go to the hospital because of what you did to me. And then I was just sending like a heartbreak or like a dot just to keep her there as long as I could so I could get screenshots of what he was saying. So I saw her real name in the chat and I was like, okay, so now I know where she's from. I know her name, so like that narrows it down, and I'm gonna try to find her so I can give it to the cops. With those messages, I contact the detective again and I'm like, I'm gonna send you more screenshots. I did. I went kind of crazy and I was like, I need to find out who she is. Basically, one night I went onto Roblox and I looked at her profile and I was like, how can I find out who she is? Like, what's her last name or anything like that? So I looked at her friends on Roblox and then I found one that had a real name. So then I went onto that person's Roblox and then they had friends too. And then of like 3 of them had real names instead of like a random username. If I can find one of these people on like Instagram or TikTok, then I can like see if all of these friends on Roblox are also their friends on TikTok. So I can see like, okay, like maybe they go to the same school. So the first person I found on her Roblox account, I found her on TikTok. Then I looked at her followers and then I found the other mutual friends from Roblox. When I went to their TikToks, they all had their schools in their bios. Hey, maybe this girl goes to that school. So then I made a fake Instagram account and then I saw that the school had an Instagram account. So I was like, maybe this girl follows this school. And she was. She was the only girl in that whole school with that name. She's exactly how she described herself. She's the age that she says, she's in the same state. So I was like, well, I don't want to just go to her and be like, hey, I'm the wife of this person. Like, please, like, tell your mother what happened. I found her on Facebook, but all her stuff was private. So I was like, okay, I need to find her mom. So when I clicked on her cover photo, there was like 7 likes on it, and 2 of them were girls. And I was like, okay, this is probably her mom or her grandma. So then I messaged them and I'm like, hey, like, are you this girl's mom? And the messages just never went through because I wasn't friends with them on Facebook. And I looked up the mom's name and then I found her number. So it was like 4 hours of me just like going crazy on my phone trying to find out who they were, and then I found her number. So then I sent her a message and it was an iMessage and I was like, hi, my name's Alyssa. I need to talk to you about, I think this is your daughter, like I need to talk to you about her. And then I explained pretty much the entire situation and it was her mom. So I was like, thank God. Couldn't believe it. She said she felt sick. She asked for proof of the screenshots, which were really graphic. I sent everything to her and I was like, this is your daughter's Roblox account. She's like, that's my daughter's Roblox account. So I was like, thank God I found you, like, finally.
This message is for Chris Hansen and his team. My name is Alyssa Veloz, and back in February of 2025, I caught my husband grooming a 15-year-old using Roblox.
What has been the reaction to you going public with this on TikTok?
I received a lot of support of people saying that I did the right thing by going to the cops because his family was mad. What was I supposed to do? Like, sweep it under the rug? Like, that's not a secret that I'm willing to keep. So hearing so many people be like, you did the right thing, he does deserve to be in jail, people do deserve to know who he is, I felt validated and I didn't feel so alone anymore.
Hey, Suze. How you doing? I'm Chris Hansen. I'm a reporter, and I'm working on a story having to do with adults grooming kids on Roblox.
Okay.
And I think you're familiar with what your estranged wife has been saying.
Okay.
What happened in that case?
I really don't want to discuss that right now, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been going through a lot.
But you see why we'd be interested in this.
Oh, yeah. It's just I keep getting harassed by people I don't know.
Now, who's harassing you?
I have no clue, sir. A lot of stuff gets shared on social media. I'm just trying to provide and pay bills.
Right.
Pay my mortgage. I don't have social media to really know exactly who, but people even here at my job come and ask me if I'm so-and-so, and I've never seen them in my life, but I figured it's got something to do with what's being shared.
What's being shared is that you were on Roblox and you had a sexually charged conversation with a 15-year-old girl.
Right, something to that effect.
And I can share this with you. You say you're fire. My tongue on that area will have you screaming.
All right, I'm
not joking, girl. Taste you
sir.
really nice. Your lips be hugging me really tight.
Y'all have a good night, sir.
All right. Anything else you want to say, Jesus?
No, sir, no comment.
Okay. Well, thank you for stopping. I appreciate it. Well, you heard what Jesus had to say. Clearly, he knew exactly what we were talking about, indicating that even people here at work have been approaching him about all this. But as for now, he's done talking.
This call will be recorded.
So what happened? How much did his wife tell you when you spoke to
Alyssa,
her?
Alyssa sent me some screenshots.
Okay.
She had advised that this interaction had taken place on Roblox back in February.
Right.
From what she can account for, it was only that month, and that she was being groomed, and her husband lied about his age of 29 to being 19.
Correct.
She said that he can't be arrested until all of this
I have a victim.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So how old is your daughter?
She's 15. I was wondering if, as a parent of a minor, it's something that I could take care of, or if I'm actually going to have to get her involved with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would need the forensic interview, which would get her story of, if she decides that she doesn't want to say anything to the forensic interviewer about the incident, then I can't do much about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Even
Yeah,
though she's a minor and I'm her parent, and
correct. I would need her to make the outcry.
What if, okay, so she didn't want to speak about this, which, by the way, I think is so backwards, because if you guys got the screenshots and the proof showing the interaction, and she sits there and says no, that's essentially a lie.
Right,
And
but
that's
the
purgatory.
Roblox, yes, the Roblox doesn't indicate her
Oh my
actual
God.
name.
All their privacy apps. Okay.
Right.
I understand. I see how it can get really all over the place.
Right.
Where does the case stand now, as far as you know?
The most recent update that I got was a month ago, and the mom reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, my daughter went in and she finally made her statement tonight, and yeah, she wished us well, and she said, I hope that this can get solved."
On January 30th, 2026, Jesus Zeringa was arrested and charged with child grooming, a third-degree felony. How can this happen on a game that is designed for children?
Unfortunately, these predators are really clever with the words that they use. They know how to get past the filters that Roblox is supposed to have in place to prevent things like this.
It sounds like, in some ways, Roblox is a playground for predators.
And this is something that has been going on for years, but has only been getting horrible, just totally disgusting in the last year and a half. I mean, it got to a point where every week you'd see on the news just a new abduction, you know? And I've never seen that ever with any video game in the history of video games. Like, I mean, some of these cases are just so horrific. And it blows your mind how, you know, in a lot of these instances where they're starting off, how are these games even being allowed to exist in the first place?
You can just cuddle up, and if you want to be a little bit touchy, I'll let you take the lead for that, okay? I just wish I could have you in real life, you know? If you passed your test, if you want something more than kisses, like, do you want to have, like, maybe a little bit of fun, or if you know what I mean, maybe. I don't want you to be uncomfortable or anything, you know? How about it?
I can tell you that these crimes, our children are being victimized regularly to an extent that we could not investigate them all.
And this is just Marion County, Florida.
Correct.
So if this is happening in Marion County, Florida, what's happening across the rest of the country?
I've been to numerous conferences where I speak to people from, you know, the entire United States who do the same job I do, and they're experiencing the same thing.
There are no geographic boundaries or limitations for a predator on Roblox.
There's thousands, if not tens of thousands of victims. It's really scary to think about.
We know that this has been a problem. We've got cases that involve allegations dating all the way back to the first year that Roblox was launched.
Sadly, that was, about 15 years ago, and it's still happening. These different cases and stories popping up so similar to mine, and it's heartbreaking, and then it kind of bothers me as a parent because I have 4 kids. How am I going to keep my kids safe if I couldn't really even protect myself? A lot of the big reason why I peel my kids away from really any online interaction, and it's hard for me. It's very hard for me as a dad because I can be the biggest and strongest guy. I'm a Marine. I'm sorry. But I can't protect them from the internet.
They could be doing so many more things than just letting these victims basically pile up every single day, because I'm sure that there's more victims than her, but it doesn't seem like they're doing anything to stop it. And that's why I was trying to make it really clear. They don't have to be vulgar. They don't have to cuss to groom a child or to say sexual things to a child. Like, look at what he was saying. Look at what he was able to get away with. My daughter obviously knows what happened, and I feel like she feels guilty a little bit because she is like the one who told on him. So I think she struggles with that a little bit, but I remind her, like, you pretty much saved this other little girl and you have no idea. Like, you literally stopped her from being harmed further. I was really unaware that there was even a chat. I thought there was like a public chat in the games, but there's private chats too. And as soon as you're friends with someone, or as soon as your child is friends with someone, which easily happens if they're in a game together, they add each other, they can be having a conversation. And I never even knew that that party chat existed. So if I was unaware of it for all these months and I have kids and I was checking their apps, like, look what had to happen for me to realize how dangerous it was.
Yeah, he stole her innocence, and exposed her to a whole world of things that she shouldn't even, The stuff that he was saying to her, I was uncomfortable with it if a man would have said it to me. And I'm 41, and I was uncomfortable even having those things said to me, So I'm just disgusted by it, and I'm hurt because I tried so hard to protect her and not have this happen to her, and it happened anyway. I know how hard it is and how this affects you because I've been abused as a child. So having this happen to her, even though it wasn't physical, it's just almost as if I was reliving it all over again, And I really tried to protect all of my children from ever having to experience something like that. So, and I know for a fact that it just doesn't go away like that, because it's something that you don't really understand at that age. I just want her to go back to being an innocent little girl, really. I know I can't have that, but it's wishful thinking.
It changed everything. I mean, I would say my innocence got stolen from it. I had no idea what any of that stuff was until I was shown it.
Schlep has really taken on this role that he is a spokesman for countless other people that have been exploited, that have been sexually abused, that have been subjected to sextortion. And so his mission is to help those people too.
I just want to keep talking about these issues.
Is this your mission now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We are seeing cases come into our firm every day. This is the tip of the iceberg.
I created a little fake account and I looked at some of these communities and I was blown away.